Welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Conahay Rail. This video was actually requested by a viewer to go over the history of Atlas O. So this video will be geared towards Atlas O trains. This will include the Atlas O Master Series, the Trainman Series, and Industrial Rail. As you can see, I have a small collection of Atlas O myself, and we will go over the history of Atlas O, the different brand names, and a little bit about the trains themselves. And when most people think of Atlas trains, the first thing that comes to mind is N gauge or N scale or HO gauge. But Atlas does make a line of O scale trains. So let's go over the history of the Atlas O lineup. The Atlas Model Railroad Company is actually based in Hillside, New Jersey, which is kind of funny because Dakman Productions is also based in South Jersey. So maybe one of these days I could get up there to Atlas and visit the warehouse or visit the facility, do some photos or videos, but that was something I would like to do once COVID is over. Not sure if, I could get in there to do that, but it would be great if Atlas was actually to watch this and invite Dakman Productions into their facility. That would be so fun, I think, to do something like that. In 1924, Stefan Schaffen immigrated from Czechoslovakia and actually opened the Atlas Tool Company in Newark, New Jersey, at his home garage. In 1933, his son Stefan Jr. came to work for the Atlas Tool Company. Stefan Jr. was actually a model airplane builder, and he visited this one hobby shop, and he asked this one hobby shop what he could do for extra money, because he was only 16 years old at this time. And the hobby shop had challenged him to create better track for the hobby of model trains. So Steve Jr. actually invented the first practical rail joiner, pre-assembled turnouts, and flex track at that point in time. In 1947, the Atlas Tool Company quickly outgrew their business in the garage, and he opened up manufacturing near Hillside, New Jersey. On September 30th, 1949, Atlas Tool Company was incorporated. In the early 1990s, the Atlas Tool Company changed its name to the Atlas Model Railroad Company. In 1997, Atlas O was established as a separate company of the Atlas Model Railroad Company. Atlas O was focused on a line of locomotives, freight cars, buildings, track, and other types of scenery. Atlas O was co-founded by somebody named James Weaver. James Weaver passed away in 2011, and then Atlas O was merged back into the Atlas Model Railroad Company in 2012. In 2006, Atlas O purchased Industrial Rail from a company called Hobbyco. Stefan's daughter Diane continued to lead Atlas Model Railroad Company up until 2013. Until that point in time, Paul Graff was named the Chief Executive Officer of the Atlas Model Railroad Company. The very first debut of Atlas O was in 1972 at a trade show called the HIAA, or Hobby Industrial Association of America Trade Show. This event actually took place in Chicago, Illinois. Attendees of that show were surprised to see a new lineup of O-scale trains from this company called Atlas O. And Atlas O were also running ads for their new product line in hobby magazines. At this point in time, the new product line was for O-scale 2-rail models that were produced by a company called Rocco in Austria, and these models were made or produced for Atlas O. These new lineup of O-scale trains by Atlas O were also published in a magazine called the Railroad Model Craftsman magazine in the May 1972 issue. And even back in 1972, the editor of that article that was in that magazine wrote about the superb detail of the Atlas O and how it was a value to the for the O gauge people or O scale people. According to research online or on different websites that I have found, unfortunately, the first attempt of Atlas O scale trains was not very successful at that point in 1972. So here is an Atlas O Master Series. This is Atlas O top of the line freight car. It comes in a box like this. This has a lot of details, a lot of quality to it. Yes, it's a little on the costly side, but you gotta understand that the Atlas O Master Series, which you'll see right here, it actually says Master Rolling Stock. This is actually geared towards those who are either into the high rail or Proto 48 side of the O-gauge hobby. And what I mean by high rail is people who like to have well-detailed cars. They're 3-rail. They want to run prototypical and realistic. Those are high railers. Proto 48 is basically O-scale 2-rail people who want to run prototypical. And so Atlas O tries to manufacture trains for both of those markets. So the Atlas O Master Series is a true scale series of trains. In other words, it's true 1/48 scale. It's not semi-scale. It's not O27. The Master Rolling Stock is your full-scale train. The next one in line is the Atlas O Trainman series. This is a more reasonably priced train car. Still could be expensive for some that are out there. Not as much detail as the Master series, but still a wonderful piece to have. It still has separately applied grab handles, separately applied ladders. It just doesn't have as much added details to it. Also, it's true scale, true 1/48 scale dimensions. It's not O27 size or semi-scale. So this would come into the line of budget for those who couldn't, really afford the Master Series. Atlas O also had a series called the Industrial Rail. This series of trains were actually O27 or semi-scale and were more reasonably priced. The one thing I like about Atlas O is they make it really easy to either model it in 3-rail or 2-rail. So yes, Atlas O offers their product line in either 2-rail or 3-rail. And when it comes to the freight cars, they make it really easy to change from one to the other. It's not really that difficult. So because they're so easy to swap from 3-rail to 2-rail, it makes it a little bit more of a selling point. So if somebody was to see something that's 2-rail, they could, and or a 3-rail person, they could buy it and switch it over to 3-rail without a lot of issues, as long as the trucks and couplers are available. Atlas O also offered different series of locomotives. Here we have an Atlas O Trainman series, and just like with their freight car series, the Trainman series is still full scale, but it just doesn't have as much detail as their Master Series lineup. Next, we have the Atlas O Master Series lineup of locomotives. Just like with their Master Rolling Stock, this is Atlas O top of the line locomotives with lots of detail. They were also offered with an optional Lionel TMCC system in them. So if you had a Lionel Cab 1 or Lionel Legacy controls already set up on your layout, you could actually run this locomotive with that control system, which made it pretty attractive to somebody who had Lionel trains. Atlas O also offered passenger type locomotives and passenger trains in both the Master Series and Trainman series, as you see in these photos in this video. Atlas O also offered what they called the Steam Era Classics. For those who liked steam locomotives, they had a dedicated series called the Steam Era Classics. So needless to say, I am myself personally a fan of Atlas O trains. I have a small collection myself. If I see something like, I'll buy it. I was really impressed with them. So my opinion is, you know, if you want a higher end of O scale or O gauge, and you're looking to get into something with more detail, but you don't mind spending the extra money, take a look at the Atlas O product. You'll love it. Also, for those who are wondering, is that Dakman Productions started a Facebook group called the Atlas O 2 and 3 Rail Facebook group. I'll put that link down into the description of this video, and all you gotta do is click on it, and you are more than welcome to join our group. In the Atlas O 2 and 3 Rail group, you are allowed to sell trains and ask for wanted trains. So we're not too restricted there. The only thing I do ask is when you list trains for sale, you can only list Atlas O trains for sale or wanted, and that's it. As far as the group posts, if you want to post something about your, you know, Lionel or MTH, that's fine. I'm not too uptight about that. I like to try and keep on the Atlas O subject, but you know, that's not. We don't need to do that on 100%. And we have a couple hobby shops that we do have on board within our group. We have a hobby shop called Mr. Muffins. He's an Atlas O dealer. And we also have Public Track Delivery. They are also an Atlas O dealer. So we do have two hobby shops that supports the group with information directly from Atlas O. So please check out that Facebook group, Atlas O 2 and 3 Rail. I guarantee you, if you have not heard of Atlas, not seen Atlas, after you buy your first one, you'll be hooked. If you like details, you'll be hooked. So I thank the viewers for suggesting to make this video. And I'm sure there's a lot more that could be explained about Atlas O. I just wanted to keep the video short and to the point. But thank you again for watching Dakman Productions. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like. That helps out the YouTube channel on Dakman Productions. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.